Alright guys, time for our next Patreon request, and this one comes from Cyborg 19.99. And they basically asked me to do a review, not a review, a who would win matchup. And this was a video, this actually kind of plugs my Patreon in a weird way alongside the Patreon request. But as always, before we go any further, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon where you guys can send me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. Now, as a long time ago I did Who Would Win videos, we're basically talking about like who would win in a matchup between the two characters. But those became exclusively put on my Patreon page, like those become Patreon exclusive videos. I actually recently just did one not too long, like yesterday as of this recording, and hopefully I'll have another one out probably today, not counting this one, or tonight rather. So yes, this one is a matchup. We got a Mortal Kombat and Amphibia matchup, pitting Cassie Cage against Sasha Waybright. So yeah, Cassie versus Sasha. Now, this fight may seem a little one-sided, but when you really get into it, there's actually a little more to it. Like, there's actually like some balance there. So let's get started with Cassie Cage, obviously the daughter of Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade. Cassie Cage has her father's mouth and her mother's fists. She is she's an intelligent fighter. She's an excellent hand-to-hand combatant, and has technology on her side to boot. She has drones, wrist rockets, also proficient in firearms, and like I said, a deadly hand-to-hand fighter. Cassie has taken on a multitude of opponents, ranging from gods and monsters and demons. Yeah, she's a total badass. Cassie is a damn good fighter, and she also, much like her father, knows how to shit talk and get her opponents off their game. That's another major thing you have to look at in this fight. But her opponent, on the other hand, also knows how to shit talk too. So let's talk a bit about Sasha. So Sasha obviously is a warrior in her own right, starting out as a cheerleader who trained herself to be a fighter, is proficient in swords, especially dual-wielding swords, and is pretty proficient when using them, and is a decent hand-to-hand fighter. So that's, she's taken on giant robots, monsters, cosmic beings, cosmic machines in her red form. So let's talk about, like, am I going to use the red form in this matchup? Yeah. Her calamity powers, as they're known. Like, is she gonna go like calamity red basically in this matchup? Yeah, for the sake of argument, yes. Which basically put her on like, Sasha, when she unlocks her calamity powers, she's given energy projectiles, invulnerability, and energy blasts, even constructing things out of like a fucking Green Lantern ring. Sasha is also an excellent tactician. She's also a bit of a shit talker, and she is known as the will and heart of the team. And just the power and muscle. Like, she has some, for a normal human being, she has some serious durability behind her. So what would it be like if Sasha and Cassie fought? Now, obviously, like I said, the shit talking is going to be off the wall. Like, it's just going to be completely in your face. Like, I am just going to, like, they're just going to wreck it. It's going to be more of a diss track than it is a fucking fight. Because I feel like these two would just be pound for pound, like, going at each other verbally. And physically at the same time. I definitely see these two in a serious fight. These two would definitely fuck each other up. Like I said, if Sasha uses her calamity powers, it's going to be interesting because does that give her an edge? Absolutely. But like I said earlier, Cassie's fought that kind of level. Obviously, referring to her fight in MKX, where she took on, Shinnok in that god form. So that's something you have to look at, is that she's taken on a dangerous god before. And also, it's a tough one, but Sasha does have some serious training behind her, but I am actually going to give this one to Cassie. Regards, she's been trained from a young age by both her parents how to fight. She also is using more advanced weapons, and the battle experience that Cassie has not to discredit Sasha, she's an excellent fighter, and I definitely see like her getting Cassie off of her game a few times, but this fight is definitely going to go to Cassie in the end. I do think this would be a pretty close fight, and definitely these two would definitely go a few rounds, but eventually I do give this one to I can't see Sasha winning this matchup. It would be close, especially with the Calamity powers, but I am giving this one to Cassie. So you guys tell me in the comments below, who do you think would win in a matchup between Cassie Cage and Sasha Waybright? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, I'd like to thank Cyborg 19.99 for sending me this this versus video, and as a Patreon request and continued patronage. And like I said earlier, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon where you guys can send me requests for videos to do here on Patreon. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.